My beloved, pause with me for a moment. Let the noise that presses against your mind fall to the edges, like waves pulling back from the shore. I draw you now into a quieter place, a place within you that has always recognized my voice even when the world felt too loud to notice it. Breathe, precious one. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your heartbeat settle. There is nothing you must prove in this moment, nothing you must fix before you draw near. You are not required to come cleaned, polished, or composed. I call you as you stand, in the middle of everything unresolved, in the middle of everything that aches. This message, come as you are, is not an evaluation of your worth. It is an invitation into the safety that has been waiting for you long before you knew how to name your longing. I am here, and I am not rushing you. I am not measuring you. I am only opening a door and asking you to step close enough to feel the warmth behind it. Let your heart lean toward me now. This is the beginning, my child. And you do not begin alone. My child, hear me gently. Come as you are is not a slogan, not a soft phrase meant to inspire you for a moment and then fade. It is the heartbeat of everything I want to unfold within you. There is a reason you are hearing it now, in this exact season of your life, when the desperation within you has finally grown louder than your hesitation. You may feel as though you are standing at the edge of something, too weary to move forward, too exhausted to go back, too aware that whatever once held you together no longer carries the weight of your story. And yet, here you are. Here, in this threshold moment where the invitation finds you. I know you have wondered if you must fix yourself before drawing close to me. I know you have tried to smooth out the rough edges, silence the doubts, stitch together your broken pieces, and present a version of yourself that feels acceptable. But, my beloved, you do not have to become worthy to be welcomed. You do not have to become whole to be held. You do not have to understand everything to open your heart even a little. The beauty of come as you are is that it frees you from every mask you have ever felt required to wear. There is something sacred about the moment when a soul stops running from its own ache and finally whispers, "I can't do this alone." That whisper is not weakness. It is a turning. It is the place where truth breaks through the walls you build out of self-protection. When your strength ends, mine begins to rise. When your clarity fades, my guidance becomes unmistakable. When your hope feels thin, I weave it back into something stronger than before. This is why I say come as you are. Because the doorway opens from the inside, and only you can choose to walk through it. You may think you are too bruised, too confused, too uncertain, too guilty, too flawed. But I see beneath those layers. I see the intentions you never learned how to express, the goodness inside you that life has tried to bury, the longing to be understood without having to explain yourself. I see the courage you've forgotten you have, the tenderness you've been afraid to show, the dreams you have packed away because disappointment taught you to protect yourself from hope. And even with all of that, I call you still. Not the version of you that you think would impress me. Not the version of you that feels tidy or triumphant. Just you. Only you. There is urgency in my voice, not because you are failing, but because you are finally ready. Ready to stop performing. Ready to stop pretending. Ready to release the heaviness you've carried for so long that you forgot it wasn't part of your identity. Ready to step out of the stories others wrote for you and into the truth I have spoken over you since the beginning. You are not late. You are not behind. You are simply arriving at the point in your journey where the deepest transformation becomes possible. And so I lean close, speaking softly but unmistakably, come as you are. Let those words settle into the spaces where shame has tried to echo. Let them lift the burden that has pressed against your chest. Let them stretch open the parts of you that have been shut tight out of fear of being seen. I am not surprised by anything you bring with you. I am not disappointed. I am not impatient. I am simply here, offering you a place to rest the weight of your story without judgment. You do not have to know what comes next. You do not have to understand the full path ahead. Just take one step toward me, one honest breath, one moment of surrender. In this beginning, all I ask is that you allow your heart to stop hiding. There is no doorway you must pass through except the one called willingness. And you have that, even if it feels small, even if it trembles, even if it comes through tears. So hear this as both invitation and embrace. Come as you are. Come with your questions. Come with your fears. Come with your past still clinging to your edges. Come with your hope fragile and flickering. Come with your longing to be held without conditions. I am here, my beloved. I am ready to walk with you. And everything begins when you dare to arrive exactly as you are. My beloved, before you take another step forward, I want you to feel the truth of something so deeply that it settles into places you rarely let anything reach. I have seen you. Not the surface you present. Not the practiced steadiness you try to maintain. I have seen the quiet, trembling parts of you that you rarely admit even to yourself. I have seen the thoughts you wished you could silence, the heaviness you carried long after others forgot you were holding it, the questions that kept you awake when you longed only for peace. None of it has been overlooked. None of it has been wasted. None of it has disqualified you. You are here because I have been walking with you through every unseen valley, waiting for this moment when your heart would finally allow itself to be known. There have been times, precious one, when you felt invisible, surrounded by people yet unseen in the ways that mattered. You spoke but felt unheard. You shared pieces of yourself but felt misunderstood. You reached for comfort and found only distance. And somewhere along that road, you learned to protect yourself by shrinking, by softening your needs, by hiding your pain behind a practiced smile. You thought that if you stayed quiet, others would not be burdened. You thought that if you stayed strong, no one would see how fragile you felt inside. But I saw it all. I saw every tear you hid, every moment you tried to gather yourself before stepping back into the world, every time you felt like you were carrying more than you could bear. And even in those moments when you believed you were failing, I saw strength. The strength of a soul that refused to stop reaching for light, even when the night around you felt unending. The strength of someone who kept moving forward, not because it was easy, but because something within you refused to let go of hope completely. That persistence, my child, is not small. It is not overlooked. It is not forgotten. It is part of why this moment is so sacred. You have been preparing for it without realizing that your preparation was happening in the depths of your struggle. There were days when your heart felt stretched thin, when the weight of expectations, obligations, and disappointments pressed on you until you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. You questioned your own worth. You questioned your direction. You questioned whether you were seen at all. And yet, through every question, I was whispering to you in ways you didn't always recognize. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. Those whispers were the threads that held you together when everything else felt frayed. And now, in this moment, as you lean into my presence, I want you to feel how deeply known you truly are. I know the decisions you regret. I know the mistakes that replay in your mind when the world grows quiet. I know the memories that still sting, the words that wounded you, the betrayals that left marks you tried to hide. I know the dreams you gave up too early. I know the ones you still hold secretly, afraid to hope for them again. I know the places where you feel fragile. I know the places where you feel strong. I know the places where you're not sure who you are anymore. And I am not intimidated by any of it. You have walked through seasons that demanded more of you than anyone realized. You carried burdens in silence because you didn't want to appear weak. You learned how to function with pain still echoing within you. You kept showing up even when your heart felt heavy. And every time you chose to keep going, you showed a resilience that is far more beautiful than perfection could ever be. I have seen that resilience. I have honored it. I hold it gently even now. Hear me. Nothing you have experienced disqualifies you from closeness with me. Not your doubts. Not your fears. Not your inconsistencies. Not your past. I am not repelled by your messiness, your uncertainty, or your complexity. I do not withdraw when your emotions feel tangled or overwhelming. I do not step back when you struggle to trust. I do not lose patience when you feel lost. I know you fully, and still I draw you near. You have spent so long trying to be enough for everyone else, enough to be loved, enough to be respected, enough to be accepted, and you have exhausted yourself in the process. But with me, you do not have to earn your place. You do not have to qualify for gentleness. You do not have to be impressive to be welcomed. You do not have to pretend to be unbreakable. I see you in every layer, your strength, your softness, your uncertainty, your hidden hope, and I embrace you without hesitation. So, my beloved, let this truth rest deeply within you. You are completely seen and completely known, and nothing in you is too much or not enough. Every part of your story has brought you to this place where the invitation to come as you are finally meets the readiness of your heart. You are not stepping into my presence hoping to be accepted. You are stepping into a love that has been holding you long before you knew how to recognize it. You are known. You are understood. You are safe. My beloved, you are standing in a place that feels strangely familiar and entirely new at the same time, a threshold where the past cannot follow you in its old form, and the future waits quietly for your yes. This is the moment when something inside you begins to shift, even if you cannot yet define it. A moment when the weight you have carried no longer feels like something you must accept, and the longing you have buried begins to rise again. You feel it, don't you? That subtle tremble in your spirit, that pull towards something deeper, truer, quieter, more life-giving than what you have known. This is the threshold moment, my child, and I am here with you. There comes a point in every journey where standing still becomes more painful than stepping forward. You reach the end of your own coping, the end of your own explanations, the end of trying to manage everything on your own. And when the old patterns no longer soothe you, when the old distractions no longer numb you, when the familiar paths no longer satisfy your soul, something within you recognizes that it is time to move. Not because you are ready in the way you once believed you needed to be, but because your heart cannot return to what it has outgrown. That is the moment you are in now, the sacred turning where surrender becomes the doorway to deeper truth. You may feel caught between clarity and confusion, between hope and exhaustion, between desire and fear. This tension is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you are awakening. The discomfort you feel is not failure. It is the stretching of your soul as it makes room for what I am preparing within you. Every time you sense that quiet stirring, every time you feel the ache of wanting more than survival, every time your heart whispers for peace you cannot manufacture on your own, you are brushing against the threshold I am inviting you to cross. This moment does not demand perfection from you. It does not require strength you do not have. It does not insist that you know what comes next. The threshold simply asks for honesty. Honesty about what hurts. Honesty about what you desire. Honesty about what you can no longer pretend. And you have already begun to step into that honesty without realizing it. You came here with your heart open enough to seek, open enough to listen, open enough to hope that something in these words might touch the places inside you that have been quiet for far too long. That openness is the beginning of transformation. There is something you must understand, my beloved. Thresholds do not appear in seasons of comfort. They come when you are stretched thin, when you are tired of circling the same pain, when you begin to recognize that life cannot keep unfolding the way it has been. They come in moments of desperation, not curiosity. They come when the soul whispers, "There must be more," and the whisper grows louder each day. This is why you feel the urgency. This is why the words come, as you are echoed differently now. They are no longer soft encouragement. They are a steady hand reaching through the fog, guiding you toward the next chapter of your becoming. You may wonder if you are truly ready for change, or if you will fall back into old patterns. You may worry that you are too fragile to move forward or too uncertain to trust what you feel rising within you. But hear me gently. Readiness is not a feeling. It is a willingness. And your willingness is already evident. You would not be here if your heart wasn't preparing to step into something new. The threshold moment meets you exactly where you are and invites you forward one breath at a time. Picture it, my child, an open doorway in front of you. Behind you lies the familiar, the habits that numbed you, the fears that confined you, the stories you repeated to yourself because you didn't know another way to navigate your pain. In front of you lies a quiet path illuminated not by certainty, but by presence. You may not know what you will find on the other side, but you can feel that it carries peace, restoration, and alignment with who you truly are beneath the layers of survival. And though the doorway feels both inviting and intimidating, you sense something safe in the light that spills through it. That safety is me. The threshold is not a test. It is not a challenge you must prove yourself worthy of. It is an invitation to stop fighting battles that were never meant to be yours. It is a moment of choosing connection over isolation, truth over avoidance, presence over pretense. It is the quiet realization that you do not have to walk alone anymore. The threshold is simply the place where your heart says yes. Yes to being held. Yes to being guided. Yes to being restored. So do not rush. Do not pressure yourself to leave. Just stand here with me for a moment. Feel the stillness. Feel the shift. Feel the gentle alignment beginning within you. You are not late, and you are not behind. You are exactly where you are meant to be, in the sacred space between what has been and what is about to unfold. This is your threshold moment, my beloved. And I am standing here with you, patient and steady, waiting for the moment your heart is ready to step forward into the light that has always been calling you home. My beloved, before you step further into the light that calls you, we must name the weight that has pulled against your heart for so long. Not to shame you, not to expose you, but to free you from believing that these barriers are part of who you are. They have clung to you, but they are not you. They have shaped your steps, but they are not your identity. And as you stand at this threshold, the shadows that once held power over you begin to lose their strength the moment they are gently brought into awareness. Let us first speak of doubt, the quiet voice that questions your worth, your direction, your place in the world. Doubt has convinced you that you must second-guess every instinct, every desire, every whisper of hope within you. It has taught you to expect disappointment before it arrives. It has whispered that you are not strong enough, not wise enough, not deserving enough to step into something new. My beloved, doubt is not truth. Doubt is the residue of wounds that once protected you but now keep you from stepping into healing. I see the moments when your doubt becomes louder than your courage, and I do not blame you. I simply call you gently forward, reminding you that your uncertainty is not a disqualification. Then there is fear, an emotion you learned to navigate early in life, often without realizing how deeply it embedded itself into your decisions. Fear has told you to stay small. Fear has urged you to cling to the familiar even when the familiar was hurting you. Fear has wrapped itself around your heart in moments when you longed for change, but could not bear the thought of breaking the patterns that made you feel safe. You have feared failure. You have feared disappointment. You have feared being misunderstood, abandoned, or unseen. You have feared letting go of what hurts because you worried that the unknown might hurt even more. But fear, my child, is not your compass. It is not your guide. It is a shadow that fades the moment you learn to stand in the presence of love. I also see hesitation, that delicate space between desire and action. Hesitation has been your way of protecting yourself from pain, waiting, thinking, analyzing, circling around decisions because the idea of choosing feels heavier than the consequences themselves. You hesitate because you care deeply. You hesitate because you fear choosing wrong. You hesitate because your heart has been bruised before, and you do not want to feel that sting again. But your hesitation is not failure. It is simply the sign of a soul yearning for assurance. And I offer you that assurance, not through pressure, but through presence. Another barrier that weighs on you is shame, the belief that something inside you is fundamentally unacceptable. Shame has convinced you that you must hide parts of yourself to be loved. Shame has whispered that you are too much or not enough. It has echoed through your memories, attaching itself to moments where you felt exposed or rejected. But hear me gently, shame is a lie. Your worth is not fragile. Your identity is not defined by your past. Nothing within you is beyond redemption, restoration, or renewal. Shame may cling, but it has no claim on who you are becoming. Then there is confusion, the state of feeling lost in your own thoughts, unsure which direction to choose. You have tried to piece together clarity through sheer force of will, only to discover that the more you search, the more tangled you feel. Confusion does not mean you are failing. It means you have reached the limit of carrying everything alone. Confusion is the way your soul signals that it is time to lean, not to strive. When your mind feels clouded, my presence becomes the quiet clarity you cannot create for yourself. And finally, I see the influence of external voices, the expectations, judgments, and pressures of others. You have absorbed beliefs about who you should be, how you should feel, what path you should take, and what dreams are acceptable. These voices have shaped your choices, sometimes louder than your own truth. They have convinced you to dim your light, silence your longing, or delay your healing. But my beloved, the opinions of others are not the blueprint for your soul. You are not here to live someone else's story. You are here to walk the path that resonates with who you were created to be beneath all the noise. So let me say this clearly, gently, and without hesitation. None of these barriers define you. Doubt is not your identity. Fear is not your identity. Hesitation is not your identity. Shame is not your identity. Confusion is not your identity. The voices of others are not your identity. These are experiences, real, heavy, deeply human, but they are not you. You are the one who has endured them, not the one who is shaped by them forever. And as you stand here with me, naming these weights with honesty and tenderness, something begins to shift within you. Awareness becomes the first crack of light. Truth becomes the first breath of freedom. This is not about fixing yourself. It is about recognizing that the walls you thought were part of your soul were actually built by moments of pain. And walls built by pain can be gently dismantled by love. So breathe, my beloved. You are not your barriers. You are the one being freed from them. My beloved, now that the barriers have been named and gently laid before us, let me draw your heart toward what has always been waiting beneath the weight of your fears and doubts. This is the moment when the fog begins to thin, and you sense something soft yet powerful rising within you. It is not a promise of perfection or a guarantee that life will suddenly become easy. No, my child, it is something far more precious. It is the promise of presence, of peace, of clarity, of restoration, of the steady unfolding of who you truly are when you are no longer burdened by the heaviness you once believed was permanent. When I whisper to you, "Come as you are," it is not an invitation into a place of demand. It is an invitation into a place of healing. Healing that does not rush. Healing that does not shame. Healing that does not expect you to be stronger than you are. Healing that meets you exactly where your strength ends and my comfort begins. The promise revealed in this moment is simple and profound. You will not walk forward alone. You will not carry your burdens without support. You will not be left to navigate the path ahead through your own limited clarity. Let me speak first of peace, that gentle grounding your soul has been craving for so long. The peace I offer does not depend on the absence of hardship. It does not depend on the approval of others. It does not depend on your ability to control every outcome. This peace is steady even when your world is shifting. It settles inside your chest like warmth, like breath, like a quiet room after a long storm. You have felt glimpses of it before. Those fleeting moments when fear loosened its grip or when exhaustion softened enough for your heart to breathe. But now, I offer you peace not as a moment, but as a companion. A peace that reveals itself when you stop striving to be enough and allow yourself to simply be held. And with peace comes healing, not in an instant, but in a gentle unfolding. Healing is not the erasing of your past. It is the reclaiming of your future. It is the softening of places that once felt hardened by pain. It is the return of trust where betrayal had taken root. It is the rekindling of hope where disappointment once settled. Healing does not mean you will never feel pain again. It means that pain will no longer define your direction. It will no longer cloud your identity. It will no longer determine the worth you assign to yourself. Healing is what rises in the spaces where shame once held power, reminding you that your story is not over, and your heart is not broken beyond repair. Let me also reveal clarity, the kind that comes not from overthinking, but from alignment. Clarity is not about having every answer. It is about recognizing the next true step. It is the quiet confidence that blooms when you stop seeking validation from those who cannot see the depth of your journey. Clarity comes when your heart begins to resonate with what is real and release what is no longer meant for you. It whispers to you in moments of stillness. It nudges you toward truth even when you feel uncertain. Clarity does not rush. It settles like light on water, gentle, consistent, unmistakable. Then comes restoration, the sacred rebuilding of what was lost, broken, or buried. Restoration is not a return to who you were before the pain. It is the emergence of who you were always meant to be. You will find parts of yourself resurfacing, strengths you thought had dimmed, tenderness you thought had dried up, courage you didn't realize was growing slowly beneath the weight of your struggles. Restoration is the steady mending of your inner world, the reclaiming of your voice, the reawakening of your purpose. It is not fast, but it is beautiful. It is not loud, but it is life-giving. And finally, I offer you forward movement, not forced, not frantic, but aligned. You have spent long seasons feeling stuck, circling the same doubts, the same memories, the same fears. Forward movement felt impossible because you were carrying more than one heart could reasonably hold. But as the barriers fall away and your heart begins to breathe again, you will find yourself drawn gently into a new rhythm. A rhythm that feels like quiet courage. A rhythm that feels like purpose without pressure. A rhythm that feels like awakening. Understand this, my beloved. None of these promises are transactional. They are not rewards you must earn. They are not conditions you must meet. They flow from relationship, your heart leaning into mine, trusting me enough to take one step at a time. I do not offer you peace because you have performed well. I offer peace because I love you. I do not offer healing because you are deserving by your own merit. I offer healing because your heart was never meant to carry pain alone. I do not offer clarity because you have proven yourself. I offer clarity because you have reached a place where truth can finally settle. I do not offer restoration because you have avoided mistakes. I offer restoration because brokenness was never meant to be your final story. So breathe deeply now. Let this promise soak into the places where fear once echoed. Let it calm your mind and soften your heart. You are stepping into a season where the burdens you once saw as permanent will begin to loosen their grip. You are stepping into a journey where peace becomes your companion, healing becomes your rhythm, clarity becomes your guide, and restoration becomes your unfolding story. These promises are not distant. They are not theoretical. They are here, now, rising within you as you answer the whisper to come as you are. My beloved, now that your heart has glimpsed the promise resting quietly before you, we step into a moment both tender and transformative. The moment of surrender. Not the kind of surrender the world has taught you to fear, where giving up feels like failure or defeat. No, the surrender is different. This is the surrender that frees you rather than weakens you. This is the surrender that lifts weights instead of adding them. This is the surrender that allows you to release what has been slowly draining you so that your hands, your mind, and your heart can finally receive what has been waiting for you all along. You have carried so much, my child. Far more than anyone around you realizes. You've held emotions that were too heavy to name, responsibilities that stretched you thin, memories that clung to your spirit long after you tried to move on. You've carried guilt that was never yours to carry, shame that never belonged to you, expectations that were impossible to meet, and burdens that were only meant to be temporary but somehow became part of your identity. I have watched you hold all of this with trembling strength, trying to keep yourself together even as the weight threatened to press the breath from your lungs. But hear me now, gently but clearly. You do not have to carry any of it alone. This is the sacred exchange I invite you into, a moment where you release what has been hurting you, not because you are strong enough to let go perfectly, but because you are tired, and because I am here to hold what you no longer can. Let us name what you are invited to surrender. Surrender your exhaustion, the kind that no amount of sleep seems to touch. The exhaustion that comes from pretending you're okay, from pushing through emotional storms, from trying to appear functional when you feel like you're unraveling inside. Let it fall, my beloved. Lay it at my feet. You were never meant to live in survival mode forever. Surrender your guilt, the weight that whispers you should have done more, tried harder, been wiser, noticed sooner, chosen differently. Guilt has convinced you to punish yourself long after the moment has passed. It has kept you stuck replaying what cannot be undone. But guilt is not the path to healing. Release it now. Let it slip from your grasp. I do not hold your past against you, and you do not need to hold it against yourself. Surrender your anxiety, the constant tension that sits in your chest, the racing thoughts that try to predict every outcome, the fear of losing what you love or failing at what you attempt. Anxiety has made you believe that vigilance equals safety, that worry equals preparation, that fear equals responsibility. But anxiety is a prison, my child, and you deserve freedom. Hand it to me. Let your mind rest for the first time in far too long. Surrender your self-doubt, the voice that undermines your confidence, that questions your intuition, that tells you your dreams are unrealistic, your desires are foolish, your heart is unreliable. Doubt has distorted your sense of self, making you believe you must shrink to be accepted or silence yourself to be safe. But you are capable of more than you allow yourself to believe. Let this doubt go. It has overstayed its welcome. Surrender your fear of being seen, the fear that if others discover your wounds, your weaknesses, or your truth, you will be rejected or misunderstood. You have hidden too long, my beloved, building walls that kept pain out but also kept peace away. You no longer need to protect yourself from love. Let yourself be known, even if gently, even if slowly. And as you surrender these burdens, not perfectly, not all at once, but with a quiet willingness, something sacred begins to happen. The moment you release what harms you, your hands become open enough to receive what heals you. In this sacred exchange, I place into your heart the gift of rest, true rest, the kind that softens your body, calms your mind, and steadies your breath. Rest that reminds you enoughness is not something you earn through effort. It is something you discover through being held. I place into you assurance, a deep-rooted sense that you are guided, supported, and steadied even when you cannot see the path ahead. Assurance that you do not walk alone. Assurance that every step you take is accompanied by my presence. I place into you inner stillness, the quiet space where noise loses its power and clarity rises like dawn. A stillness you can return to again and again, no matter how loud life becomes. A stillness that anchors you even when uncertainty surrounds you. I place into you courage, not the loud, forceful kind, but the gentle strength that grows slowly and consistently. Courage that helps you make decisions aligned with your truth. Courage that helps you speak what you once silenced. Courage that helps you move forward even when the ground feels unfamiliar. And finally, I place into you belonging, the deep knowing that you are not alone, not forgotten, not abandoned, not unseen. You belong with all your food, all your beauty, all your complexity, all your becoming. You belong exactly as you are, and nothing can change that. This is the sacred exchange, my beloved. You release what diminishes you, and you receive what restores you. You let go of the burdens that were never meant to define you, and you embrace the gifts that lead you back to yourself. So breathe now. Breathe deeply. You are safe to surrender. You are safe to receive. You are safe in this moment, and you are safe in my hands. My beloved, now that your heart has stepped into the quiet transformation of surrender, it is time to let this inner shift flow into the world around you. Change does not remain only within the soul. It seeks expression in the rhythms of daily life. And as you learn to align your outer world with the peace, clarity, and restoration rising within you, you will begin to notice that life itself responds, softly at first, then steadily, then unmistakably. Alignment is not about rigid discipline or perfect routines. It is the gentle harmonizing of your actions with the truth you are beginning to embody. It is living each day in a way that reflects the deeper freedom you are stepping into. You have spent long seasons moving through life in survival mode, reacting to pressures, expectations, and fears. But now, as you lean closer to me, I invite you into a new rhythm, a rhythm where presence replaces panic, intention replaces impulse, and peace becomes the compass by which you make even the smallest decisions. This alignment is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to steady you. It is meant to give shape to the freedom that has been unfolding within your heart. Let us begin with your time, that precious, finite space you have often given away without noticing. You have poured your hours into obligations that drained you, into people who did not honor your heart, into tasks that left you empty. But now, you are invited to reclaim your moments, not selfishly, but wisely. When you choose where your time flows, you choose the direction of your life. I am guiding you to create space for what nourishes you, what heals you, what aligns with your becoming. This may look like slowing down when your instinct is to rush, resting when your old patterns demand productivity, or saying no when your heart whispers that you have nothing left to give. Your time is sacred, my beloved, and honoring it is an act of alignment. Next comes your focus. Your attention had been scattered for so long, pulled in directions that did not serve your peace. You have allowed the noise of the world to drown out the gentle truth rising within you. But now, you are learning to center your mind, to quiet the distractions, to breathe, to return to the present moment again and again. Focus is not about force. It is about returning. Each time you feel your thoughts drifting into fear or doubt, you can return to the stillness we built together. Each time your mind races toward what-ifs or heavy expectations, you can return to the simplicity of now. Alignment of focus is not perfection. It is awareness, and awareness is already growing within you. Then there are your relationships. You have given pieces of yourself to people who could not hold them with care. You have stayed connected to those who drained you because you believed that letting go would make you unkind or disloyal. But alignment invites you to evaluate which relationships nourish your spirit and which pull you away from your truth. This is not about cutting people out or building walls. It is about recognizing who speaks to your soul with gentleness, who listens with intention, who supports your becoming rather than resisting it. You are allowed to choose relationships that reflect the peace you are cultivating. You are allowed to distance yourself from the voices that pull you toward old patterns. You are allowed to create boundaries that protect your growth. This is alignment, not abandonment. Now consider your energy, that inner reservoir that has been depleted by stress, overthinking, and emotional strain. You are learning to honor your body, your emotions, your limits. You are learning to listen when you need rest, nourishment, movement, breath. You are learning that energy is not infinite and that you do not have to give yourself away to prove your worth. Alignment with your energy means treating yourself with tenderness, recognizing when you are stretched too thin, and allowing yourself the freedom to replenish. You do not have to justify needing rest. You do not have to apologize for protecting your well-being. Your energy is precious, and caring for it is part of the sacred journey you have begun. Finally, let us speak of peace as your compass. The world has taught you to follow urgency, pressure, fear, and expectation. But peace is the marker of alignment. Peace is the quiet confirmation that you are moving in the right direction, even when the path feels unfamiliar. Peace may not always feel easy, but it will always feel true. As you make choices, big or small, lean into the option that brings peace to your chest, even if it challenges your comfort zone. Peace is not passive, it is power. It is wisdom. It is truth disguised in softness. When peace settles within you, you are aligned with the rhythm of your becoming. My beloved, alignment is not a set of rules. It is a way of being. It is choosing what brings you closer to wholeness rather than what pulls you back into fear. It is remembering that every moment, every decision, every breath is an opportunity to return to the center we have built together. And even when you drift, and you will, I am here to draw you back gently, without judgment, without disappointment. You are learning to live from the inside out. You are learning to let peace lead. You are learning to honor your time, your focus, your relationships, your energy. You are learning to walk in alignment with the truth of who you are becoming. This, my beloved, is the quiet transformation that turns inner healing into a lived reality. And you are ready for it. My beloved, we have walked through deep waters together, through the ache of being unseen, through the weight of your burdens, through the quiet surrender that loosened what once held your heart captive. Now you stand in a moment unlike any that has come before. It is not defined by pressure, nor by expectation, nor by the fear of choosing wrong. This moment is defined only by possibility. It is the space where you decide not who you must become to be worthy, but who you are willing to allow yourself to be now that you know you are seen, known, and held. The choice before you is simple, though not always easy. Will you step into the life that aligns with your healing, your peace, and your truth? Will you accept the invitation of come as you are, not as a concept but as a lived reality? Will you let yourself lean, trust, breathe, and move forward without the chains you once carried? I do not force your hand, my beloved. I do not demand your answer. I stand with you, patient and steady, knowing that the choice is most powerful when it rises freely from your heart. You may believe that you need more time. You may feel that you must become stronger, wiser, or more certain before you choose. But the choice I ask of you is not a leap into perfection. It is a step into honesty. It is the decision to no longer let fear write the script of your life. It is the decision to let peace be your compass. It is the decision to let your heart rest in the truth that you do not walk this journey alone. Even a trembling yes is still a yes, my beloved. Even a quiet whisper of willingness carries the power to shift your entire direction. Every transformation begins with a single moment of alignment, a moment where your spirit says, I am ready to move toward healing. I am ready to move toward truth. I am ready to be held. And that readiness does not come from having everything figured out. It comes from letting yourself be honest about what you desire: freedom, connection, clarity, peace. These desires are not weaknesses. They are the signals of your becoming. As you stand at this threshold, I offer you a choice wrapped not in pressure, but in love. Choose to let go of the stories that once defined you. Choose to step out of the patterns that kept you in cycles of exhaustion. Choose to believe that you are worthy of gentleness, worthy of healing, worthy of support, worthy of love. Choose to trust that your heart is capable of transformation. Choose to walk with me, one step, one breath, one surrendered moment at a time. Do not look back with regret, my child. Do not fear the path ahead. I am with you. I walk beside you. I go before you. I steady what feels unsteady within you. The choice you make today plants the seeds of the life you will grow in, slowly, steadily, beautifully. Nothing will bloom overnight, but everything will shift the moment you say yes. A yes to peace. A yes to healing. A yes to becoming. A yes to come as you are. And now, let these declarations rise from your heart, not as forced affirmations, but as truths your spirit is ready to embrace. Speak them softly. Speak them boldly. Speak them as many times as you need until they settle into your bones. I choose peace over fear. I choose presence over panic. I choose truth over old narratives. I choose healing over self-punishment. I choose rest over exhaustion. I choose clarity over confusion. I choose love over isolation. I choose to honor my time, my energy, my heart. I choose to release what is no longer mine to carry. I choose to trust the guidance that meets me in stillness. I choose to believe that I am worthy of gentleness. I choose to move forward, even slowly, even quietly. I choose to come exactly as I am. Let these declarations become anchors for the days when your old patterns whisper again. Let them become reminders of the truth you discovered here, truth that will not fade, truth that will not fail, truth that will follow you into every new season. These words are not empty, they are seeds, and you are the soil ready for growth. My beloved, the choice is yours, and I honor whatever pace your heart takes. But know this, every part of your being is already leaning toward light. Every step you take, even the smallest, draws you deeper into peace. You do not have to rush. You do not have to prove anything. You simply have to choose to keep moving with me, gently, honestly, wholly. So take a breath. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the steadiness rising within you. And when you are ready, whether in a whisper or a clear voice, let your heart say yes to the invitation that has been calling you from the beginning. Come as you are, my beloved, and step into the life waiting for you. My beloved, as our time in this sacred space draws to a gentle close, breathe slowly and feel how much lighter your heart has become. You have walked through valleys of doubt, through shadows of fear, through memories that once tightened your chest. And yet, here you stand, steadier, softer, more open than when you first began. This is not the end of your journey. It is the quiet beginning of a new chapter shaped by peace, truth, and the tenderness you are learning to offer yourself. Let these final moments be a soft blessing over your spirit. You are not returning to your life unchanged. You are carrying with you a deeper clarity, a restored stillness, and the quiet courage of someone who has looked inward and found a spark still burning. That spark will guide you. That spark will grow. That spark will become the steady light you follow through every season ahead. And so I seal this message with the invitation that has wrapped itself around your heart from the very first word, come as you are. Let it echo within you. Let it comfort you. Let it remind you that you are never alone, never forgotten, never beyond restoration. You are held. You are known. And you are deeply, endlessly loved.